I really think we're in for one of the wildest offseason football, from Mike Tomlin possibly leaving Pittsburgh and going somewhere else, to Mike Vrabel being fired, to today Pete Carroll has either stepped down or mutually parted ways with being the head coach for the Seattle Seahawks. That doesn't really, it didn't really sound like a firing because he's still going to be part of the organization. Um, I think it was more just mutual parting ways. I'm pretty sure at least he's been having some health issues the past few years. I don't know if that was the major factor. Just want to spend more time with family, or just the toll that the game takes on these coaches. To Nick Saban actually retiring as head coach of Alabama football and everything he's done for that program over there, really setting Alabama as the gold standard as far as football goes. For schools in college, just the amount of first rounders, amount of Pro Bowlers, All Pros, everything else that have come out of that program, everything he's been able to do in his 17-year span there, winning multiple championships. I think not making the playoffs this year just kind of made him reflect and say, hey, there's nothing more I can do. Won championships, won this, won that, said multiple first-round picks, first overall picks, All Pros, everything else. Like I said, just the gold standard for college football. To again, Mike Vrabel being fired, but what I want to get to is the everything that's been coming out about Keith Carter, the offensive line coach for the New York Jets, previously for the Tennessee Titans. Taylor Lewan put out a tweet basically saying like, sucks Vrabel got fired. He loved playing for Vrabel for all the time he was there, minus 2018. Loved his coaching staff, except for Keith Carter. And what's funny about that is Mekhi Becton soon after commented on a tweet saying everything in the second paragraph is truth, basically saying he didn't like Keith Carter, didn't like the way he coached, didn't like maybe him as a person. And to expand on that, Breece Hall then tweeted on the same, commented on the same tweet, not with words but with emojis. It was the laughing, crying face emoji, kind of suggesting he feels the same way as Mekhi Becton and Taylor Lewan. It really begs the question: why is he still here? He's obviously not liked. Not just on his team, but around the league. He's not liked. He's not respected. He doesn't move the needle at all. This offensive line has progressively gotten worse throughout the year with penalties, just not knowing assignments, not knowing who to block, not picking up stunts, just completely whiffing on blocks. This whole season, this entire offensive line, didn't matter if it was the original starting five or the five who started in week 18, they just constantly look lost and just really out of place, not knowing what to do, and that is 100% on coaching. And what even begs more of a question is, why is Robert Saleh, why is Joe Douglas, why is ownership, why are they doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on keeping Keith Carter here? Robert Saleh actually came out and said that it was either when they were first bringing in Keith Carter or maintaining Keith Carter was a priority for him. Meanwhile, he led the 31st ranked pass blocking offensive line and the 31st ranked run blocking line offensive line and the 29th ranked pass blocking line. And again, this team, this offensive line, they looked completely outmatched, clueless, confused on nearly every game. So again, it begs the question: why is he here? What he doesn't provide anything. He's not liked. He's not respected, and on top of not being liked and respected, you can see this team is already kind of breaking down as it is from all the comments that have been coming out against this coaching staff. Hackett, just the offense in general, from players like Alan Lazard, who played with Hackett, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, even the defensive players. It begs, it doesn't make sense. This is from the get-go, Joe Douglas and Rob Saleh talked about building the best culture in sports, but now you're seeing things that are uncharacteristic of what Joe Douglas's what was really great about the Douglas regime in the first place was that it was very tight-lipped in that organization. There wasn't a lot of stuff leaking. His team kind of kept other teams guessing what they were going to do, and now that's just kind of reverting back to the old typical same old Jets way, where now you're having all these leaks, now you're having all these rumors coming out, and this is kind of breaking down in front of our faces because there's no real answer for how can we improve this team besides, well, Aaron Rodgers is coming back. And like I've talked about in my previous videos, Aaron Rodgers is top 8, top 10 quarterback of all time, possibly top 10 player of all time, but he can't fix everything. He can't fix bad coaching. He can't fix bad management. He can't fix that because he's not part of that. And if you expect him to do all that, I don't know how you can expect him to manage, to coach, to come up with the plays, run the offense, because that's another thing. Garrett Wilson, his last interview, his exit interview, said that Aaron Rodgers is the offense. So if Hackett's offense is completely ineffective without Aaron Rodgers there, and Aaron Rodgers is the one that's running the offense, why is Hackett there? But you expect, going back to what I was saying before, you expect Rodgers to do all this stuff, fix all these things, and so then when does he have time to be the quarterback? It's becoming, it's unraveling more and more and more. You're seeing more and more and more cracks, and the fact that we're just refusing to make any significant change, any change that would actually improve this team. I don't know what we're relying on besides Aaron Rodgers at this point. There's all the draft talk and everything like that. I'll make another video for another time, but real quick, do we take an offensive lineman with our top pick or whatever the case may be? And to me, it's okay. Well, if you take an offensive lineman with your top pick, which I'd be all for it, except this, every offensive lineman that comes into the NFL, it doesn't matter how talented you are, where you played, your athletic ability, IQ, whatever, you need to be coached up on the speed of the game, the strength of the game, the physicality of the game, the complicated defenses, the more complicated offenses, scheming, everything else. And we don't have that because we saw it this past season where, maybe we didn't have our original starting 5 out there, but a lot of these guys were on the practice squad. We had them in OTAs, we had them in preseason and all that stuff, and they got worse. Take Laken Thompson, for example, a guy, when we got him from San Francisco, he was known as a perennial solid left guard, multiple-time Pro Bowler, and just smart, high IQ, durable, everything else. He's regressed every year, and what's the difference? What's changed? Well, the offensive schemes have changed. They have gotten worse and worse and worse and worse, and nobody's teaching them. That's why I'm personally scared to take an offensive lineman with our first pick, because you have no one in this organization to teach these guys how to play in the NFL. And then, Mekhi Becton, his first season, he looked like somebody that could be a perennial All-Pro. Now, this year, he was one of the worst left tackles in football. So who does that fall on? It falls on coaching. Mekhi Becton didn't all of a sudden forget how to play football. Laken Tomlinson didn't forget how to play football. There's no one to adapt them to this scheme, and that's on Keith Carter. That is a majority of that is on Keith Carter and this coaching staff that is just, we have to keep him. It makes no sense why the guy's not respected. He's not liked. He's not good. So why is he here? So just something to stew on. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. What should we do? What do you think needs to happen? What moves would you make? Because me personally, like I said in my last video, if I'm Woody Johnson and all these coaches are available, I'm seriously considering eating crow, admitting I made a mistake, and looking out and get someone who can bring accountability to this team, because there is none. Bring a quality coaching staff with them, because right now we don't have one. So, that's my 2 cents. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe. And until then, talk to you later.